All right, we'll call this county board to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. First item of business is to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
Motion by Terry,
I'll second.
second by Wayne, to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions, comments? All right, hearing none, we'll call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We've got the minutes from February 8th. Regular meetings.
I'll move the minutes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've got a motion by Jason,
Yes, sir.
Second.
and a second by Terry to approve the minutes as presented. Any questions on those? Comments? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Financial business.
Mr. Chair, I will move on the courthouse claims, the highway claims, the public health and human service claims, and the burial payments. I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion by Kevin and a second by Terry to approve the claims, including burial payments. Any questions or comments on those? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Claims are paid. We'll move on into the human service business. First item is to approve promotion of accounting tech 1 to eligibility worker and fill a vacant position.
I'll move on that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well, we've got a motion
I'll second.
by Kevin, second by Terry. Discussion. We're going to hear from our director there. See, she's on. She's there. But
She's on, yes.
should there be any questions or? Kathy, can you hear us? Well, I'm wondering,
Do I
we
have
can.
to go back to it?
Who's that in the corner?
Well, we can hold the motion in the second and move on to other business and come back to it when Kathy comes. How's that? I'm just reluctant to call the question without her input. If you guys okay with that?
I can tell you what it was. I know what's going on, if that helps her, unless you want to wait for her. But maybe we can wait, yeah, because she should talk.
Okay. So we'll hold that and move on then to, we're looking at what, approving LG 220 application for exempt permit for RLMC raffle.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've got a motion, Commissioner Solom, second Commissioner Skoye. Any questions on that? Sounds like fun.
Thank you.
We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Move on then to approve support of KEDA's request to deeds Main Street Economic Revitalization Program.
All movement that is, so all we're in here.
Second, Mr. Chair.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Skoye, second by Commissioner Schobel to approve the application. Any questions, comments? Go ahead.
Joanne might be on for a little more explanation.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping that we get a little more explanation. I know that they've been taking applications around the counties.
Joanne there, can you just tell?
She's online.
Who would, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. You were hoping for what?
Oh, maybe Joanne can explain it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anyone wants to talk to us today.
Seems that way,
I
doesn't it?
can't blame them.
Wonder if our system's
Joanne, can you
working.
speak to this, to the deed process here that you have going?
We're muted. mute or something.
No, I unmuted, so we should be okay.
Do you think Justin should come in? Maybe there's a should.
Looks like she tried talking.
We have these on red for speaking, right?
Huh?
Green.
Or if that was.
There's
that's an
Kathy.
issue. Kathy, are you there? I see your face now.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Can't hear you, Kathy.
She'll go like this so she knows you can't hear her.
And there's Joanne. Kathy, are you on mute? No? Okay.
No, they're not.
I think nobody can talk, so I wonder if it's our issue.
Yeah, something's not working right. We'll hold off for a second.
Sure, light on green, wait.
Mine is, yeah.
Okay.
Should be green.
There's something going on here.
Everyone, I'm online, I can hear
Okay.
people online and you guys. I called Len, got him to mute his phone.
Okay, thanks.
So if
I'm
you
gonna
can-
see if Philip's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that deal
Can you
with
hear me
that?
now?
There we go.
Okay,
Okay, I was just trying to call in by phone to see if that would work. But you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good, Joe.
Okay, perfect. So the DD Main Street Revitalization Program is a program, and it's both rent, which a business can do either. We are helping the Northland Foundation apply. So the Northland Foundation is actually going to be the applicant to be for this process. And we are just kind of helping, and then we'll be that partner with the Northland Foundation for doing things. So we put out an application. I think we've had over 30 businesses, probably close to 35 businesses fill out that application, which is just a pre-application because we're just looking at how much money we would need to request from DEED for the projects that we want to do in our county. And I think we're at close to $8 or $9 million in projects that I have so far. And so this program would give each project, whatever the total business project is, 30% of their total project would be a grant. So it's kind of giving an incentive for businesses who have been affected by COVID with being shut down or the borders closing or any of those other circumstances. This kind of incentive to continue to invest in their business, invest in our communities and in our county. And so I think I was surprised, but I'm really glad that a lot of people are thinking about taking advantage of this and wanting to invest. And this will create a huge amount of investment in our county. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope that we will do well in the application and helping with the application as well. So fingers crossed, we should find out end of March, beginning of April if the Northland Foundation will get the application. And then we will go on to, as a partner, start working on businesses and distributing those funds and to businesses that are shovel-ready projects. Does anybody have any questions?
No, that kind of answered mine.
Okay. Pretty quiet bunch. Good job.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support in this. It's going to be huge. I have 2 businesses that are looking at around $2 million projects. So that's going to be great.
That's wonderful. All right. So did we have a motion and a second on
You
that?
did, yes.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll backtrack to the application on the exempt permit for the RLMC raffle.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh, we did that one, okay.
And then we go human services.
Oh, we're back to Kathy, that's right.
Yes.
Kathy, are you with us?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can. Welcome.
Yeah, I don't know, something was happening because of that caller, I think. Because we could hear each other, but I don't think any of you could hear us
Yeah.
until
It
that
was a-
caller went away.
It actually was a setting on our speaker in here.
Oh, okay,
But
well,
they-
good.
Gremlins.
Couple of things going on.
Okay, so, we're at the approved promotion of accounting tech 1 to eligibility worker?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that where we're at?
Yep.
Okay. So we have had, we had an eligibility worker position vacant because of a promotion from an eligibility worker to the supervisor, and now we have filled that eligibility worker position with somebody in the accounting department. Tanya Carlson will be our new eligibility worker. So we would like for you to approve that promotion and also allow us to fill her now vacant position in the accounting department.
I'll make that motion.
We did have.
We had a motion.
We have a
second.
motion already.
Second, yeah.
And it was you, Kevin.
Forget that.
No, it was you.
No, it wasn't me.
It was Kevin and you seconded.
All right.
So there are the two. All right, any questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Anything else?
Nope, nothing for me, thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, where are we now?
Number 7.
Yeah, approve the LG
We did that. So,
07, yeah. Authorize a carpool to seek bids for vehicle replacement. Can you even buy a car anymore? They're kind of hard to come by, it sounds like.
They're like gold. Yeah, what it is, the carpool would like to circle back and pick up where we left off a few years ago in regards to upgrading the fleet a little bit. Reviewing our notes from last, 2 years ago, I guess, or whatever, a year ago. August. The plan was to replace a Taurus number 28, but being as though we put some work into it, it's not a bad car and it's got low miles on it. Yeah, reasonably low miles, so we thought we'd hang on to that one and then look at replacing 116 instead. That's got a little over 100,000 miles on it, and it is a 2015 Ford Taurus. And so, and then to go along with this, our assessor's office, Derek, is in need of a truck more so than actually the Taurus. And I've got some information here in regards to that. That's vehicle number 11. It's a 2006 Chevrolet Silverado. It's got about 80, my quote's mileage, about 86,753 miles on it, and there's some work to be done on it at this point. The four-wheel drive apparently has some issues with it. There's some major rusting on the floor, some alignment issues, and it needs new tires at this point. And it's probably, being as though it's a 2006, it's probably time to move that one along. And the other side to that is Wally at the Highway Department is interested in that, so it would be an intertransfer kind of vehicle if we would go through with that. So I did a book value on number 11 for just a average trade-in. It comes in at about $7,075. Clean trade-in, $8,000. Our records indicated that the truck was offered to Ranger Chevrolet in Hibbing before all the sickness and all that took place. It was shopped to those guys, and they offered us a quote of $2,000 for the vehicle. So it's worth a whole lot more than $2,000. So. And then back to 116 again, a good car, starting to get up there in age, 2015. Nothing wrong with it that I know of at this point. It's a decent car for somebody, and it would be time maybe to upgrade the fleet somewhat. Any more, Betsy, to add to that, or?
No, I think that's, you covered it well, thank you.
Kind of touched on it. I did do a state bid form for a pickup. I was working with Derek out of the assessor's office, and we went over this a couple of times, and he did a lot of the work beforehand, but then everything shut down when everything happened, and you couldn't get a vehicle anywhere for anything. And even today, I was told that you can get on the sheets and stuff to get a build done. Wouldn't be until to even start anything would I think he said it was June. And even then, the values of these vehicles are changing by the month, and it's chaotic to say the best. And so if we're going to do something, I guess you just got to jump in and hope for the best and play the game. So in my sheet I had on a simple truck for Derek as we filled it all out, nothing real crazy. We're coming up with a total of about $34,669.45. No, that's like I say, I could call this morning and probably get a different figure on that. But so that's kind of what we're looking at as far as a pickup goes. I haven't addressed anything on the 116 yet. That would be sold outright instead of traded in. Is that the way we wanted to do that?
Well, we talked about that, but now keep in mind this was last August.
Yeah.
So now, is this state bid pricing that you have, is this current or is this from 21?
No, this is current, just a few weeks ago. So. The thing to keep in mind too, there are no used vehicles around, so 116 I gotta believe would bring a premium price at this point. You can't get anything anywhere.
No, you can't.
Kevin will add to that.
I've been looking for 4 months.
So for a decent car for somebody, I gotta believe you'd get really good value for it if you were to sell it. So
Probably better than trading it in?
I would think so, yes. Simply due to the fact that we shop the pickup around, quite a bit older rig, but for $2,000, my numbers are telling us that we can do a whole lot better. And Wally wants it. He said he wants the truck. So it'd be I don't know how that works. I've never done that yet, an inter-department transfer like that. But
It's pretty simple once it gets approved.
yeah. So outside of that, a couple of vehicles for the carpool, one for the assessor, one for the forest land building, and I don't think I have anything else. Did I miss anything, Betsy?
Just one thing to add is that this is budgeted for 22.
The pickup that you're looking at for the assessor's office, is that a standard cab or a crew cab?
Extended cab, not a crew cab, but an extended cab.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this is the truck that hauls the ATV around, isn't it?
Yeah. He would like a rig that can fit his four-wheeler in the back end there and then shut the door. A lot of these trucks nowadays are a little bit short, and so you got to drive around with the back ends open on them. And so that was one of his why he was looking at a Chevrolet, a GMC Sierra 1500
With a long box?
with a 6.6 box, 6.6. Yeah.
Something else, Dean, to watch out. Some of them the boxes are getting narrower,
Oh,
and it won't run through the wheel wells.
the wheel wells.
Yeah. So be careful on that. I've heard guys say that.
Okay.
All right. You heard the information. Betsy said we're on track.
I'll move on that, Mr. Chair.
All right, we've got a motion. Commissioner Reed. Second by Commissioner Schobel. Discussion? Questions? By the time you get the price, if it's way out of line, let us know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different
For sure.
word out there. All right. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dean. All right, we'll move on to taxing district, Falls Ambulance Service. Who's here for that?
I put down that you and Commissioner Bird could probably speak to it best.
Well, I suppose I can start. I was in contact with Rainier this morning, and they're gonna approach this issue this coming week. So I think that in light of that, it makes sense for us to hold off on that and see what happens there. I can't imagine us moving forward with Rainier not. If they do not, then it becomes a whole different issue. Anyway, that's just my thought. Certainly, if anyone has any other.
Well, I have a question, is what are the exact boundaries on the taxing district?
We don't have that map in here.
The other maps.
It should be.
Yeah, it's a second page. 88.
Oh, yeah.
It's the third page in the packet.
Right there. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I got it, I can read it here. Well, we're not gonna vote on today, so.
One thing they did bring up at the meeting, Wade and I are on that committee, is that, which was good to hear, is that the taxing district would have a board or committee, whatever they call it, taxing board, and it would be 2 from the Falls, 2 from the county, 1 from Rainier, and I don't remember what the other one.
I think one from St. Louis.
And 1 from St. Louis. And what that would, they would determine what the increase is every year in regards to what they pay the city for this. So that made me feel better as far as approving it as of today. It's kind of a little early, I think.
Jason will know what it's
Also, until we look at it a little more.
Just for clarification, though, the committee that they were talking about was to increase from the base price that it's going to cost to set this up. And then looking to the future, having a committee to look at that. Just
See
way
if there's an increase every year, yeah.
That's the way I understand.
Yeah, they definitely, that's right.
So that, okay, yeah.
It's
so
a
that
huge
would
increase for
be,
people if
what the old town
we go with this, we know that.
kind of by Mike Hansen. And then when it comes over here, it goes down a little bit as well.
If I could just point out, Commissioner Patrick.
Sure, go
excuse
ahead,
me,
please.
that they do have a deadline for us of March 10th, and our next board meeting is March 8th, so
Yep.
we're still okay, just so you
Okay.
know where we're
Yeah.
at.
I think we have to make a decision then.
Yep. But anyway, I think, I'll probably, well, if I don't attend the Rainier meeting, I'll be getting all the information, or we all will see where they go from there. Same with Capitola, they're waiting to see.
And St. Louis.
That's the St. Louis one.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to people out in Birchdale, and they were inquiring, they had not heard anything about it. And so they had questions on where the taxi district was going to run over there too.
Yeah, the proposal is very expensive. I mean, it's usually that goes with bigger cities, Duluth, MSP. But anyway, we'll see what happens. And I'm anxious to see what comes out of Rainier. So for now, we'll just table this. You okay? All right.
Well, don't we need a motion to table?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think we do. So, and I think Rainier's already stated their position as well.
No,
I think they were opposed, weren't they, right from before the start of all
That was
this?
before, but they haven't
Is that okay?
commented on this.
Yeah, they didn't make a final decision.
Well, they haven't, so the resolution doesn't matter, that they already have? This resolution here?
They've got it, they should have another one coming to them.
Yeah, that's what way I understood it too. But anyway, that's Rainier, so whatever they're doing. All right, we have a motion?
I have another question though. Oh, now, the timeline you're talking about has to be met to set up the taxing district, correct? And that's coming up in a month, you said?
Well, they've asked for our timeline to be March 10th,
Okay.
so that they can get it formed in time. But they
These are
don't really
their-
have a date when it has to be formed by.
Right, just so you understand, these are their proposed timelines.
Yes.
Yes, but there is also one state timeline, and last year it didn't get in time. I don't know, Jason, you know when the state timeline is on doing it?
that's early summer, I believe. You have to have this information in by, otherwise it's another year. It's like July 1st, or don't quote me on
It
that.
doesn't really say here.
No, it's different though for the getting it in to the state, so they are a little ahead of that, but it's not too long away. It's only a couple months off.
Yeah, because that's what happened last year, is it got delayed too long, as I understand.
Yes.
That's why it couldn't get done.
All right, so anyway, do we have a motion to table for the next meeting?
What was that?
We're going to need a motion, a second to table.
Didn't Jason make a motion?
Well, that's what I was wondering.
I don't know who made, I thought Kevin made the motion.
I'll move on it then.
All right, we've got a motion
I'll second it.
and a second to table the taxing district. Any further questions or comments? Got a bad guy coming in the door. I've got all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, we'll move on. Auditor treasurer business.
Auditor treasurer business, we have a opportunity to apply for have a grant. We've had one in the past, Help America Vote Act. And there's Bill Ekblad, who's in charge of security for the state of Minnesota and oversees the county. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was waiting.
Oh, I thought you were waving at me.
Wait.
Anyway, what it is a grant that allows you to buy certain things surrounding security and access for voters. And every county has the ability to apply. And this particular grant allows each county to get $20,000 plus, I think it's either 27 or 29 cents per unit of population in our county. So the total amount comes out to $22,821.50. And I have some ideas I'd like to visit about after I read the resolution. It shouldn't take any more than the 5 minutes. But the resolution I'd like to have you consider is to apply for the $22,821.50. Again, that's a basement amount plus 27 cents per unit of population. So it says, whereas the Help America Vote Act provides grants for counties in the U.S. to improve election security and voter access, whereas Koochiching County qualifies to apply for the grant to $22,851.50 based on HAVA grant guidelines. Therefore, be it resolved, the Koochiching County Board of Commissioners authorizes the Koochiching County Auditor Treasurer to apply for said grant. So the grant is attached, and the grant itself, in writing it, I'm not going to pretend I wrote it. I gave some details. It's heavy on the cybersecurity stuff. So Jackie was diligent in getting most of this done before she left. Justin has since picked up and done a good job. This is one of the last pieces, the resolution, and then he has to visit with one other person. I believe this is kind of a grant that will be given. And also the nice thing about it is it doesn't have to be used this year. So if we didn't use it this year, it continues in our coffers. We have to make a couple of reports regarding its use for the year. Again, we've had grants in the past from this same I don't want to say organization, but the federal government has given us grants like this in the past. So it's continuing, or it stays with us. We don't have to turn around and give it back. There's a bit of reporting. It's not onerous by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just some money that we can use, again, for cybersecurity and for voter access. Along those lines, I talked to this Bill Ekblad about possible ideas, and I'd like to visit with the commissioners about it too. And the ideas I had involved security surrounding either drop boxes and cameras. We have a drop box out here. The camera that looks at it is from the sheriff's building over there, law enforcement center. And one day I was visiting with Perrin, and I walked out and I waved at him from that box, and you couldn't tell who it was. It was snowy and stuff, of course, too. So I'd like to get a camera closer there. Perrin said that they're working on a Make Court Safe Act or something like that, that deals with cameras and wiring and things like that. Anyway, when I talked to this Bill Ekblad, apparently the state of Minnesota is going to come out with a grant specifically for drop boxes, cement pads to put drop boxes on. So that might be something also that we apply for specifically for that purpose. So this could be used for other purposes as we see fit, as qualify as other purposes, or not. And the thing I'd really like to discuss, maybe when we have a bit more time, is drop boxes. I like the idea of drop boxes in the out-county areas for convenience. But also I know drop boxes come with political ramifications too. You know, some people don't trust them. I don't want to jump into any weeds I don't want to jump into. So with further discussion, I think we could secure these grants and then maybe have a discussion about how we would approach using the dollars, what a good use of them is. And I do not think time is of the essence on this federal grant. It may be on the state grant, but that hasn't come out yet, so I don't know. I don't know things like who can bring the ballots up if we have a drop box in North Home or Big Falls. I'd like to see a drop box out here that you can put your ballot or tax payment in, and then it slides into the stairwell behind us there. So then we have a camera on it, who's dropping it in, and it's secure within a building. I don't know if those opportunities exist in North Home or Big Falls or wherever else we might decide to. So there's a lot of questions. I say I don't know a lot, including this time. So, but I'd like to apply for this $20,000 grant, and then probably apply for the state grant as well, in which case I'll need to visit with you again. So that's my spiel. Questions?
Questions, yeah. You know, drop boxes, it's not like going to Rainier, for example, where we go. You know, you sign right in front of the official, and you go do that deal.
Yeah, this year they're going to, remember last year because of the COVID, they did not have, like absentee ballots weren't required to have people sign. You know, you didn't need to have a witness. Think of the, single person out there who lives across the street, is old, elderly or something, so they didn't have that. I think that's coming back this year, that you need a witness to do that. And then to mail it, so all those same districts are going to be mail-in districts, so the convenience that would provide are people who don't trust the mail would be able to drop their ballot in a drop box. It would be monitored by a camera 24/7, and they're movement cameras, so if nobody's there, they don't, run tape. And then we'd be required to hold on to those for some period of time. Like we have to hold all our ballots for 22 months until they're done, so we can throw away the presidential nominating primary ballots now, because that was more than 22 months ago. That was in March, so it'll be 24 months in a week or so. So, and then the August one comes up and we can throw those away in June. And then the November one, we can throw those away in September. I'm assuming the camera stuff probably would be the same. I don't know. So anyway, pretty nice to get this money. It's not a ton of money, but it's, something that's being offered out there and we can hang on to.
So you need approval from the board.
Yep, I just need that resolution, whatever.
All right. Commissioner Schobel?
I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Edy, second. Questions, discussion? Some other things will play into this too, because, in fact, this afternoon, we're going to be talking again about a new law enforcement center, which we're going to be required to build. That may have some influence on where we can put boxes too,
Right.
in the future. I mean, I like the idea that there's not a quick timeline on this, but I suppose the drop box could be moved and then removed.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for some overlap with that other grant, like where the cameras go.
Yeah.
If we had one looking out from where you guys come in for your meetings, at that drop box, it serves two purposes. Who was coming in there, who was using the drop box. And I had a visit with Perrin about this, and he showed me all the different camera angles he had, so pretty slick. But that one is virtually unmonitored because of that. Our security is, there's a little sign below it that says "Smile, you're on camera." So.
All right, well, we've got a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any more questions or comments? not, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Take you later. All right, we'll move on to Public Health, Human Services.
That's been taken care of. That was covered in the financial
Commissioner
motion.
Pavlik, that was.
Yeah, you
did the
I
burial.
think you already
We're done.
approved the burials for us, and that's all we had.
All right, thank you. And then on to Veterans Business. We got him.
Yeah, how do you do?
Well,
Good.
we can hear you for a change.
Yeah, I'm in the video conference room instead of on my computer. I don't know what the problem is there. But anyways, yes, so just like the fleet folks, we're looking to buy a new veterans transportation van this year. We had originally hoped to do it last year, but it just didn't work out. But we have the funding on hand. It is budgeted for 2022, and we have, like, we've been to the state site and, you know, we kind of have some general pricing or ranges that we're looking at, and we would also like to get some bids from local vendors. And then, of course, the old van we would dispose of or put up for sale under the sealed bids process.
All right, everyone's looking for vehicles. Wishes of the board. They do wear out, I guess.
I'll move on
This
that,
van
Mr.
that we
Chair.
have is still in pretty good shape, so it'll be a good deal for someone.
Good. Is it motion, Commissioner?
Yep.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Skoye, second. Questions or discussion? Well, anyway, good to hear your voice, Mark. That's working much better. So we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Anything else?
No, just copy with the vets in the fall. We're going to be on the 9th in Koochiching. They're having it in Black Duck. I don't think I'm going to go to the North Home one this month because, once again, it's going to be in Black Duck. And Scotty from Bemidji will be attending, I believe. And then a little working plan to do one this month, but they postponed it till next month. So it'll be like the 15th of next month. We'll do a coffee with the vets on Little Fork VFW. So with that, that's all I've got. Commissioners, unless you have any questions for me.
No, I mean, that's a great program, meeting those veterans. And by the way, Carol and I did stop in, but we didn't get a chance to talk to you at the last one. You were so busy in the back there, and we had to get to Grand Rapids, so we did stop in. So anyway, thank you, Mark.
That must mean the meeting's ending.
Sounded like Beethoven's orchestra. All right. Who's this guy we're going to deal with? Environmental Services.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Matt. Are you going to enlighten us here?
Well, we had a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on Thursday, February 10th. We heard information on a conditional use permit application submitted by Buell Consulting, representing Tillman Infrastructure LLC, in order to erect a 325-foot cell tower. Total height with an 8-foot lightning rod is 333 feet. On a property owned by Dan Robinson. The parcel is located on the south side of County Road 5, lying east of the intersection of State Highway 6. And I do believe we have Dan Cabot online here. He is representing the proposed developers. And if Dan wants to share information about the project, that'd be great.
Dan, let me tell you, can you hear us? Can't hear.
Dan, we cannot hear you. Cannot hear you.
You must be on mute.
All right, Dan, I'm just gonna continue on with the presentation here. You see if you can figure out your volume and go ahead and speak up if you. And we'll let you know if we hear you. We cannot hear you right now. So.
Did he unmute?
Did you unmute by chance? Yes.
He did,
Okay.
We'd rather hear from you than him. We'll have to do with that.
It was so Dan gave me a call. Dan, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's
Yes.
right here.
Hey. I gotta do it the old-fashioned way with the phone on the ear.
Well, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. And Matt said before, we're looking to build a tower along Highway 6 to the south end of the county for my client Tillman Infrastructure. They are working in partnership with AT&T to build this site to provide a nice wide area coverage on the AT&T network on the south end of the county around Highway 6. It is definitely quite the dead spot as it stands today. But a part of this project also has to do with FirstNet, which is a federal program geared at creating one continuous wireless network for emergency responders across agencies from coast to coast. So definitely an important public safety component to the project, and I'm sure glad to answer any questions you might have.
This is east of State Highway 6?
That's correct.
Okay.
Kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. You're kind of over,
It's a needed area for cell coverage for sure.
well, I believe that. I know people that, that live there. They have nothing over there.
Did you mention about the possibilities of emergency services utilizing some space?
Brian, did you hear Commissioner Schoblum?
I did, and Tillman is certainly open to considering all requests to co-locate other equipment on the tower. They are very glad to hear that. We'll be glad to accommodate that.
Thank you.
And I see, and Brian they've agreed to within that 2-year time frame, correct?
Yeah, so the part that I haven't said yet is that, at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the commission made a unanimous recommendation to approve the conditional use permit, or recommend the approval of the conditional use permit as proposed, with a condition that the tower be up and running within a 2-year time frame. And Brian had stated that that wouldn't be a problem at the meeting. Is that correct, Brian?
That's correct.
And one other thing that I had spoken with Brian about was deconstruction of a cell tower when it has met its useful life. And Brian said that he would send a letter to us to throw in our file that they would remove the tower if it ever became
Obsolete.
Yeah, non-operational, I guess, and so they would do that within a year's time frame. Is that right, Brian?
We can certainly accommodate that.
Well, Brian, I can tell already you're a lot nicer than Matt said you were.
I do what I can. I'd be there if it weren't for the weather here this morning.
The county board, and before a lot of these folks were even here, we made a mistake in not putting a timeline on getting these operational.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you've done here, man. All right, any other questions or comments? Kevin, please.
Is that something that was added at the planning and zoning, Matt? What's the 2-year time limit?
Yeah, the Planning Commission recommended the 2-year time limit. That's what the motion was, yeah.
Okay, so if it doesn't get built within that 2-year time limit, then it would have to come back to the board again?
That's correct. They'd have to reapply for a conditional use permit, and
Okay.
yeah.
I was glad to see that on the...
Any other questions? All right. We've got a motion and a second?
I'll move on that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Commissioner Ady and Commissioner Schoblum, any questions, discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. You got it there, Brian.
Thank you all very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you bet.
thank you too, by the way. You're the first one that came in and didn't need a new vehicle, so. Yeah. Highway business.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I noticed I had this typed up wrong, the first item, and I'll clarify it. But the first one is authorize Highway Department to advertise bids for SAP 036. It should be 615-013, and that's tied to 036 640-006, and that's located in in North Ulm. And I'll redo this requested board action with the right numbers on the SAP. But basically, the Highway Department is requesting authorization to advertise and receive bids for SAP 036 615-013, and this is tied to 036 640-006. This project is a combination of full depth reclamation and mill and overlay on facade 036, 615-013, and 036, 640-006. The facade 15, on facade 15, the project will include full depth reclamation on Highway 70, from Highway 71 to County Road 15, approximately 1 3/4 miles, and 300 feet of mill and overlay on the bridge over the Battle River. On Facade 40, the project will consist of a mill and overlay of 2,100 feet in downtown North Ulm on 3rd Street. The engineer's estimate for this construction is estimated at $828,696.
I was going to say, I'm wondering Commissioner Scoy was going to move real quick on that. We've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Schulman, any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll call a question. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, motion carries.
The next one is to advertise a project that we've been working on for over 15 years.
At
least, okay. The next one is to requesting authorization to advertise and receive bids for SAP 036. Oh, I got the wrong one again. That's Is that the one you have too? I'll read it from this. I don't have. The Highway Department is requesting authorization to advertise and receive bids for SAP 036 624-019. And this is the Cassad 24 Van Linn Road grade separation. This project is located on the Van Linn Road where it crosses the CN rail tracks. This is a 2-year project. Year 1 will be the bypass and embankments. Year 2 will be the bridge and paving. Funding for this project comes from Cassad Construction. The grant we got from Minnesota LRIP bonding, and which was $3 million, and we also have CN's contribution. The total for this project is estimated at $7,416,900.85.
Well, Commissioner Adie, I assume you're going to...
I'll move on that, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
You got a second by Commissioner Murray. Questions or discussion? Huge project, long time in the making.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Item 3.
The next item is authorize the highway department to award bids for a zero-turn mower for $4,399 from All Season Equipment, and a mobile tack skid for $10,122 from Larson Asphalt Repair Equipment. These pieces of equipment are budgeted in the 2022 budget. If approved for purchase, it would replace current equipment or be added to our current equipment. The county board authorized solicitation of quotes on the January 25th, 2022 board meeting. We received 2 quotes from the Zero Turn All Seasons for $4,399 and from Forest Land at $6,514. We received 2 quotes for the tack skid, Larson at $10,122 and Step at $16,014. And attached to the thing is the quotes that we received. And if there's any questions, we will be taking our old Zero Turn and probably giving it to the Environmental Services Department for their use out at the transfer station.
Is this equipment readily available?
What?
Is this equipment readily available?
Yes, they're both readily available.
Wishes of the board.
I'll move.
Get a motion. Commissioner Skoye. Second by Commissioner Schulman. Questions, discussion? The mowers aren't cheap anymore either, are they? We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Yeah, vacant highway engineering tech.
Okay, we currently have 1 vacant technician position, and this is to authorize the highway department to advertise for the vacant highway engineering technician. The highway department is requesting authorization to advertise for the highway engineering tech position. Would also request that it be filled with a junior or senior level based on the applicant's experience and knowledge. We have not had the best of luck trying to fill these positions. So if we do get fortunate enough to find somebody that's really qualified, we'd like to be able to offer them the senior technician. This year's construction projects have the largest expenditures in the history of the county highway department. And also 2023 and 2024 is expected to be similar. We've got in our capital budget for the next 3 years about $8 million a year. Also, the recently enacted local option sales tax, we will have additional expenditures of up to almost $1 million a year on local, county, and township roads. The majority of these local option sales tax projects are small projects and will be done in-house using the engineering technicians. So we'd like to try to find somebody, if possible, and start advertising.
Projects that would have never been done without that option. Got a motion by Commissioner Skoye? Second by Commissioner Schulman. Discussion, questions? When's Trent going to get some gray hair?
I got some.
Very soon.
I got it. I've had it for several years.
You got to work on him a little harder.
Well, there's another reason is I'll be leaving.
Oh, we don't want to hear that.
Well, it's his turn. And this winter with all the calls is not getting fun.
I hear you. Well, anyway, you've done a wonderful job for us. Wow. Okay. We'll call for the question. Any other discussion? Call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That's it, huh?
That's it for this week.
We get to do this again soon. There are a lot of projects going on. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I think Trent, well, we got at least 2 more, and they're pretty big projects too. Memorial, 15th Street, 2nd Avenue, part of 2nd Avenue.
But even with that option tax, getting some of those small things done in the outer areas that we would have never been able to do it.
Hey, quick question, when are you gonna, you're gonna send out the bids, when are you gonna accept the bids? When are you gonna open bids?
What?
When will you open these?
It'll be around March 5th, March 6th for these particular ones.
Commissioner Eby.
Dave, quick question.
Sorry, April. Sorry.
Did you have the bid opening on
Clearing
for the access road?
Yeah, we had the opening, and last board meeting you approved it to award it to L&L Contractors.
Oh, okay, yep.
And we had our pre-construction meeting. That was just last week, I believe, Trent, and they're going to start what they think about the middle of March.
Okay.
And they think it's only going to take a week, so.
Yeah, it won't take that long. Was there much timber in there, or mostly just brush?
I think there's quite a bit of timber.
Okay.
And so they were pretty committed, so they're starting at the end of when road restrictions usually go in, and we'll waive the load restrictions on 24 there so they can get it into the mill.
Yeah, okay, good.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, thank you, gentlemen.
At least the snow went to the south.
Boy, we're just missing that.
Well, I heard Duluth got 15 inches.
Oh, I believe it. We were watching it.
And more today, yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot more snow this year.
Yeah, my son was working in Grand Rapids, I think they got 6 inches yesterday.
Did they? All right, we'll move on then. We'll wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'll just make sure.
All right, is anyone here for public comment today?
This is Joanne Smith from the TIA office. I don't know, Jason, I don't know if you kind of told them about the tax and the CAPTA and AARP information.
Not as of yet, go ahead.
Okay, so if I could just, I'll kind of give you some background. I'll read a letter. This is a letter that I submitted to Jason, and kind of gives a little background on the tax help that people receive for tax services to get their returns done. So in years past, the volunteer coordinator through AARP has partnered with Koochiching to help low-income and elderly residents in Koochiching County file their tax returns. In 2019, 1,026 people used the service to file their taxes for free, which equaled about $1.2 million in federal returns. These individuals had a gross average income of about $23,896. In 2020, due to COVID-19 and the COVID-19 pandemic, there were not as many volunteers as most were part of the vulnerable population. Tax services were only offered in the city of International Falls, but still 591 individuals still participated in this program, giving a total of $584,000 in federal returns. The previous coordinator through AARP retired, and Koochiching took the lead in this program because there's a high need for these services. Koochiching advertised for a volunteer coordinator, and because through the AARP program, it's a fully volunteer service. In order to be certified as an AARP site, you have to have a coordinator and register the site to get the free software for filing the return. Since the coordinator was not able to be found, the deadline for the site certification and software has now passed. And which is why I offered maybe, PETA could help in that capacity. So we're trying to help Koochiching with this. So Koochiching, with the support of PETA and the Northland Foundation, are looking for unique alternative ways to continue to offer this service to the residents of Koochiching County. Site locations with computers and requests for volunteers across the county are being advertised. The goal would be to have locations in International Falls, Big Falls, and North Home, and have volunteers at each site to help the community members do it themselves to submit their tax returns, property refunds, or certificate of rent. Realizing that not all residents will be able to submit their returns or feel comfortable due to the COVID-19 pandemic submitting their returns at one of these locations, funding for local tax preparation and filing will be needed. It is estimated that about 50% of people will be able to submit their tax returns with the help of volunteers at these sites across the county, and the other 50% will need someone to do it for them. We are asking the Northland Foundation for $10,000 to help with this program, but we'll need an estimated $45,000 more to cover the average cost of about $110 per tax return. Koochiching and Peter are asking the county to commit $45,000 of the ARPA, or American Rescue Plan Act funds, to help support this program in Koochiching County. So that's kind of just a little background on how it came to be and why we would need some funding to provide this service, and that, due to COVID and that it's an economic issue, we want these people to get this money back, and we want this money to stay local as well, is why we're looking for funding or unique ways on how to do this. So we created these self-help sites, and we're advertising for volunteers right now, and kind of trying to go about it doing things that way as best that we can with the resources that we do have that are free.
Well, I think that's great, and it's not just elderly people. Young people have a hard time with that too. So that's great. Any questions and comments?
Just a quick question, Joanna, just for clarifying. Is this like just a gap year fill-in? Maybe would the ARP program be up and hopefully running next year?
Yeah, so that would be the goal. Is this would be kind of a gap year where we would ask for financing to kind of help us through that and get these people through that. I've had people calling my office, and I know Amy Mortensen at the Koochiching office has had multiple calls each day for help with taxes. So next year we would plan to have a coordinator, and that coordinator might be, it might be Ida, might be helping Koochiching with coordinating it. But next year we plan to have a registered site and those things. The lady that kind of took it over was kind of handed it in Koochiching, and she didn't realize there were some of these deadlines and that you had to have a coordinator before registration. So just a lot of, we're all new to this and trying to figure it out and trying to get through it and get everybody the services that they need.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for the information and for all the work.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye, Joanne. All right. Any other comments or questions?
I do have something.
Please, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, this is being handled through ARPA. There will be a request being before the next ARPA meeting. I think there was some information already sent out to the ARPA group. And then it'll go before the tax, who's that attorney that approves, that says that this is an approved expenditure or not. So it'll go through that for some of them. So Jason was doing some work on it behind the scenes.
Truly, Joanne and Amy and Beth, is it, I believe? Yeah, they really kind of got out and running with this here and noticed the need and identified the need. So yeah, credit to those folks there for sure. They really put a lot of time and effort, and trying to throw it together quick is sometimes difficult, but it looks like it's working pretty well so far. So.
Yes, and thank you, Jason, for being part of those meetings too. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Nothing with the government is easy. I think they make it hard on purpose. All right. Any other public comment? If not, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Schoblum.
I'll second.
By Commissioner Skoye. Any questions, comments? Good seeing you folks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody.